Machu Picchu, Huayna Picchu, Intipunku, quite a language, huh? But these are all names associated with an ancient, mysterious civilization that lived high in the Andes Mountains of Peru. And that is today's design inspiration. An empty shell of a room changes radically as we give the walls a fresh coat of paint and create a wall mural of Machu Picchu filled with misty mountain mystery. A set of stairs is painted to depict colorful Peruvian weavings. And we'll use recycled materials to design.
Where we going now, JoJo? Oh, no, Michel. Take us on a trip. Ole, señor. Habla española. We're cruising, JoJo. Come in. Let's go, JoJo. Oh, yeah. Come on. We're cruising now.
It's a place that she wants to recapture and relive right inside her own home. So pack up the llama and come along as we paint to experience a land steeped in mystery. Machu Picchu, an architectural wonder. This civilization dates back to at least the 1400s, when the Inca tribe was the ruling aristocracy. They built this city of stone on a mountain ridge, using a sophisticated terracing system that would protect the soil from erosion and encourage agriculture. The homes and communal buildings are comprised of stones, an ancient mystery unto itself, because these stones fit together perfectly without the use of mortar or machinery. After the Spanish conquest, this community fell prey to disease and was eventually forgotten altogether until it was rediscovered in 1911 by an expedition of explorers. This is the space that is going to be transformed into a Peruvian-style guest room. And this house, and actually the whole island that it sits on, is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So it's going to use all these bits of inspiration. Cheryl, you have an interesting challenge ahead of you, don't you?
Yes, I do, but that's why I love what I do. I can't wait to get started to really transform this wall with the mural area, which will open up this space completely and make it feel like a veranda area. We'll be tying in the artwork of the beautiful mountain range in the background, the Andes Mountains, and then of course the actual Machu Picchu area that has the stonework and the wonderful stair-step effect in the foreground.
Wow, this wall is going to be a real head turner. And I understand you have something special planned for the stairway.
We're going to create a border right on the wood of the stairway that really resembles the Peruvian weavings. Each one of their weavings tells a story, and their artwork is absolutely amazing. So we're going to recreate that with symbols, color, and artwork, and tie it all in together.
That sounds excellent. Of course, before we get to any of the pretty paint, we have to do the wall paint. Okay?
Let's get started.
This room was in need of a fresh coat of paint. Got a good start on this room, but there's more work to be done. So when we come back, we're going to take a stroll down the Inca Trail and weave a Peruvian story complements of burnt sienna and cadmium yellow.
Having been to Peru myself and experiencing all its beauty, I believe that I can take the images that I experienced and create that in my artwork here.
To top it off, Cheryl hand-painted these commercial tiles to look like the stones of the Inca Trail, complete with a few critters. This is the trail that leads into Machu Picchu. Outside of the aesthetic value, it makes a sturdy ledge, while the bottom gives us much-needed storage. Adjacent to our guest room is a set of stairs, and our artist and designer Cheryl has a special vision for these, don't you?
Yes, I do. We're going to be honoring the weavings of the Peruvian people and creating a border up the stairway that will tell a story. As Janet and her guests ascend and descend, we'll be telling a story with the Peruvian symbols that we've created and designed.
So what would this symbol mean?
Actually, this is the condor. It's a highly spiritual symbol to the Peruvian people, but it's like our American eagle.
Got it. Well, it looks like a fascinating process, so I'm interested to see how it all goes together. The first step with the stairs is to make sure that the surface is sanded and clean. She measures for the border She sketched the patterns and uses tracing paper to transfer them onto the surface. Many of these Peruvian symbols pay tribute to nature, such as the sun, the moon, and Mother Earth. Animals hold significance too. For instance, the serpent represents earth creatures. Cheryl's use of multiple colors is almost an exact replica of the bright Peruvian weavings. And it works well since our homeowner loves all these colors, particularly the red tones. These are oil paints that Cheryl's using. And we'll be using a sealer with an oil-based finish. Takes a little longer to dry, but it will be very durable. From the Peruvian symbols on the stairs to the Peruvian site of Machu Picchu right here on this wall. We were promised a mural. Cheryl is working on it. And this is a huge space, 10 by 12 feet. How do you begin working on something so massive?
Well, I always begin on graph paper, and I just draw it out to scale per square foot so that we know that the customer and I are on the same wavelength and we're getting the right look. Then I just do the overall outline drawing, very minimal, and let the walls talk to me. See how the light is coming in, see how the place will be viewed, and I just start painting.
Wonderful. Well, that's a true artist for you. And it's a fascinating process, so let's sit back and watch. Machu Picchu is the core of this room, and it makes quite a subject. To capture a three-dimensional feeling, Cheryl's paints are watered down to create a translucent effect. She says she doesn't use a large quantity of paint. In fact, for the whole wall, she'll go through less than a cup of paint. Huayna Picchu sits proudly at the top of Machu Picchu, which incidentally translates into Manly Peak. The ruins of the city lie below. Part of this mural includes the Inca Trail, a path comprised of stones laid by the Inca people. Cheryl's cleverly integrated this feature into the shelving unit underneath it. And our homeowner wanted to include elements of the rainforest in this mural, so Cheryl goes with the green. It's a bit tricky to shift from a mid-ground element to a foreground feature, so Cheryl says the best way for her to do this is to stand back and get perspective. We let Cheryl get a little further, and as the works progressed, details bring the mural to life. Definition comes from the plants, the stone arch, and a parrot. This is a special request from the homeowner. In Peru, parrots are seen everywhere, even restaurants, so we just had to have one perched in our painting. This mural makes a great focal point for this guest room, and when we come back, we're going to start adding hospitality. You know, a place to put up your feet, hang your hat, or poncho. Stick with us. We are creating a Peruvian-style guest room, complete with a mural of Machu Picchu, storage space, and a stairway that weaves a story. Well, now we're tackling one of the most neglected parts of a guest room, the closet. Cheryl Vanderpool is our designer and artist extraordinaire. You've got something special up your sleeve, don't you?
Yeah. Well, in Peru, they keep things very simple and primitive. So we're keeping this closet open as a focal point as you first step into the door, having functional hooks placed here and there for utilization for people who are the guests, and then painting in ponchos and shawls, and a Peruvian cap as if it were hanging on the hooks.
Once again, the painting technique starts with broad strokes as the outline, with subtle shadings and details filling it in. Cheryl is painting Peruvian woven fabrics onto the wall. And these pieces are typically made of cotton or wool, and the vibrant colors in the weavings were made from dyes that were extracted from berries, flowers, vegetables, and minerals. In Peru, the blue color especially is prized because it's derived from a plant that blossoms only for a short period of time. Cheryl's using oil-based paints in hopes of capturing the rich appearance of these weavings. Custom painting like this will range in price based on the skill and experience of the artist. The cost can range from $50 to $300 an hour. And our entire project took roughly over a week for Cheryl to complete. To continue the Peruvian theme, this area is being tiled with Cheryl's custom painted porcelain tiles. It's a good choice for an entryway since it's a durable material. The stone look, of course, is reminiscent of the Inca Trail, and the tile setter is laying them out to determine his pattern. Helpful because there will be a lot of cuts in this area. Everything a visitor needs: warm footwear, a walking stick, cap, poncho. Well, okay, it's Cheryl's painted poncho, but you get the idea. Finally, the stairs got several coats of sealer, which helps bring out the wood grain and those vibrant colors. Are you pleased with how they turned out?
Oh, I really am. I think it's just another wonderful example of the Peruvian artwork and honoring that piece with the symbology and the borders and the colors and their weavings. It's just another way to transport us to another place in time.
Like into the guest room with our homeowner, Janet. How do you like how this room turned out?
I just love it. It's just so magical and mystical. Just makes me feel like we're in Peru again.
Well, good. And thank you so much for sharing this unique part of the world with us. Well, this story is just about at an end. But before we go, let's take another look. This historic home was destined for something special, and our homeowner, together with our artist and designer, hand-painted works of art depict Machu Picchu and a clever coat closet. Storage, futons, and other accents offer pleasant amenities to the guests who will find their rest here. The labor with all this custom painting cost about $5,000, while the furniture and materials came in at about $2,500. Here's a look at the room before, and here it is after. That's all she wrote. Thanks for joining us on this Peruvian expedition where we visited a civilization that's long lost, but not forgotten. I'm JoJo Liebler. So long.